Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, and welcome back to this next video. And this is the fourth video in the chapter 2 on the immunology. In the third lecture, I told you about the different types of the immune cells, and I gave you an overview that usually we divide the white blood cells into two classes. One is known as the granulocytes, if there are granules in the white blood cells, and we call them as the agranulocyte if the granules they are absent. And I've told you that these granulocytes they are divided into neutrophils, the eosinophils, and the basophils. So these three they actually make up this granulocyte class. And when we talk about these agranulocytes, there are lymphocytes like the B cells, the T cells, and the natural killer cells. Then you've got the macrophages and the monocytes, and of course these macrophages and the monocytes, the macrophages they are derived from these monocytes. Then I've told you about the differences between the granulocytes and the agranulocytes. Then I've told you that these granulocytes how they actually looks like, and these agranulocytes how they look like. I gave you a detailed discussion on that, so if you are interested in that, I'll share the link in the description for that particular video. In this particular video, I want to focus on the neutrophils. Not only this video, but the upcoming 2 or 3 videos, they will be focusing on the neutrophils. Now these neutrophils, as I've told you, they belong to the class of the granulocytes because there are granules, and we will discuss about them in detail. If you talk about their number, these neutrophils, they are the most abundant circulating leukocytes, and they make up about 50 to 70% of the leukocytes of the blood. And if you compare them within the class of the granulocytes, so they are much more abundant because these eosinophils they only make about 1 to 3%, and these basophils they only make about 1% of the circulating leukocytes. So that means that neutrophils they are the most abundant leukocytes in the blood. When you talk about their production, these neutrophils they are produced in the bone marrow in a very large number, and if you look at their number, they are about 10 raised to the power 11, so they are produced in billions per day. If you talk about their origin, so they are produced in the bone marrow, as well as their differentiation that is happening in the bone marrow. And once they are differentiated, they move to the peripheral blood, where they circulate for about 7 to 10 hours. And after their circulation, they move into they migrate into the tissue, where they have a lifespan of few days, and they then perform their desired functions. If you especially talk about their characteristics, so if the cell size and shape of the neutrophil, if that is concerned, so these neutrophils they are very small cells, and if you talk about their diameter, they are about 10 to 12 micrometers, and they are known as the polymorphonuclear leukocytes because of their distant appearance. Because if you look at their nucleus after they are stained, so their nucleus is multi-lobed. They are about 2 to 5 lobes, and these lobes they are actually connected by a thin chromatin strands. So these are the cell size and the shape. If you want to see them, we usually stain them with a special stain, which is known as the Giemsa stain. And after staining with this Giemsa stain, they actually look pink purple, and this pink purple color is actually making it easier to differentiate them from the other blood cells like the eosinophils and the basophils, because this Giemsa stain is a differential stain, and it is going to stain the different types of the blood cells in a different way, thereby making the differentiation easy between the different types of the blood cells. So after staining, if you look at them, they actually look like this pink purple. So this is actually a stain one, how you stain them. And if you look at their image, if you can clearly see the multi-lobed nuclei over here, and you can see these thin chromatin fibers which are connecting these different lobes of the nucleus of the neutrophils. If you talk about their production, a special mechanism which is known as the granulopoiesis. So granulopoiesis is actually the process which refers to the production of the neutrophils, the eosinophils, and the basophils. So this is a term which is actually used for the production of the granulocytes. If you talk about the blood cell in general, that particular process is actually known as the hematopoiesis. But if you specifically talk about the granulocytes, so this term granulopoiesis is then used. So this granulopoiesis would be the production of the neutrophils, the eosinophils, and the basophils. Now, if you look at the life cycle of the, or if you talk about the production cycle of the neutrophils, so the process actually starts with the hematopoietic stem cells. So this HSC would be the hematopoietic stem cells. Now, this hematopoietic stem cells, it gives rise to all of the cells of the blood. I have a detailed video on that, and I'll share the link in the description if you are interested in the types of cells that are produced from the HSC. So this HSC, if you talk about the granulopoiesis, it is converted into the multipotent progenitor cells. These multipotent progenitor cells then get converted into the lymphoid primed multipotent progenitor cells, this LMPP. I have written the full name of this abbreviation in this particular slide over here. Talk about this GMP. So this is the granulocyte monocyte progenitor cells. Now this GMP under the control of a specific stimulating factor, which is known as the granulocyte colony stimulating factor, for short that is known as the CSF, that actually leads to the production of the neutrophils. So this GMP, it gets converted into the myeloblast, and this myeloblast get converted into the promyelocyte. Now, if you look at the difference between these two cells, you are actually starting seeing the granules in this promyelocytes, and I'll talk about these granules in detail, about the 4 types of the granules that are present in the neutrophils. So if you can see the changes in the production of these, you can say these granules over here. And you can see the changes in the nucleus as well. So in the promyelocyte, you see a limited number of the granules. The promyelocyte then converted into the myelocyte, and you can see the increasing number of the granulocyte over here. We'll talk about that in detail. This myelocyte then converted into the metamyelocyte, and you can see the increasing number of the granules as well as the multi-lobe nuclei that is going to appear. And then this metamyelocyte get converted into the band cells. These band cells, they get converted into the neutrophils. The neutrophils are released from this bone marrow. This one is the bone marrow. From the bone marrow, this neutrophil is released into the blood circulation, where they live for about 7 to 10 hours, and then they lead into the tissue by a specialized process which is known as the diapedesis. So I'll talk about the types of the granules in the next video, and then we will have a detailed discussion on this diapedesis and the mechanism of action of the neutrophils. So if you like the video, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, do share it with your friends, and if you have any question, you can ask me that in the comment section. I'll see you in the next video, and we will continue our discussion on the neutrophils.